Hi everyone, my name's Caitlin. I'm doing my presentation on developmental speech sound disorders. So it's important to note that articulation errors are typical in development as children learn to speak. A developmental speech sound disorder occurs when errors persist past the appropriate age. It's also important to note that speech sound errors occur not only in articulation but also in the child's internal lexical representation of the phoneme. Frequent articulation errors will result in decreased intelligibility and speech that is not age appropriate. This chart is just very helpful to describe some phonological patterns. So these are the patterns described here. If these patterns persist past this age, it likely points to a phonological disorder. Etiology of these disorders: some speech sound errors can result from physical problems such as developmental disorders, genetic syndromes, hearing loss, or neurological disorders. However, it's important to note that many speech sound disorders occur without known cause. Evaluations should include analysis of speech errors, measures of intelligibility, language sampling, speech sampling, and formal testing in order to analyze error pattern. An example of a formal test that could be used is the Goldman-Fristow test of articulation. Important to note that assessment requires observation of speech and language in a naturalistic setting. Treatment. Remember, children with speech delays and disorders are likely to have comorbid speech, language, and/or reading impairments. Speech sound disorders include not only articulation errors, but also errors in the child's internal representation of the phoneme. Therefore, treatment should target speech output as well as facilitate a child's internal representation of the phoneme. This involves not only teaching accurate articulation, but also facilitating a child's correct lexical representation of speech sounds. Intervention should be efficient and effective. The role of SLP in children with developmental speech sound disorders is to improve intelligibility. The multiple oppositions intervention strategy is a cognitive linguistics approach, which is appropriate to effectively and efficiently expand the child's phonemic productions as well as internal conceptions of phonological rules, which is important. Treatment approaches should involve minimal time and maximal potential for generalization. Multiple opposition focuses directly on speech output by targeting contrastive word pairs. Targets are selected based on speech errors. So the targets are selected based on the errors the child makes and the types of patterns they produce. It provides a range of contrasts which facilitates discovery of new rules and increases generalization by directing a child to an entire rule rather than a single target. This is more effective and more efficient. These are my references. Thank you.